Your mixer sounds like absolute trash. It's not wanting to turn on or change speeds when you move it through the speed pattern. But don't throw it in the trash just yet. There is still hope for it, I promise you. In fact, we can help you make them run brand new. The owner of this mixer wants it to be completely rebuilt, so we're gonna do just that. This is what I love about my job. I get to screw around all day. And with that back screw out, we can just go ahead and remove the beauty band. She was a little leaky. So this Pro 600 style is super easy to open up. There's 2 screws on this side and 2 on this side as well. We need to remove those. And with those screws removed, that upper housing, it just pulls right off. Now it sounds to me like a lot of that grindy, nasty sound is in fact coming from back here in the motor, but we won't know because sometimes the gears cause that noise. So we'll have to remove this transmission housing first. Which is super easy. There's just another 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And with those 4 screws removed, this transmission cover can just be pulled up and out of the way. Let's go ahead and get this gasket out of the way as well. So this gear right here is called the worm gear. It's just a floating gear, so we can just grab that and pull that out. I typically only use this word to describe my underwear. But you see these skid marks right here? That's an indication of that gear beginning to wear, but that's not bad enough to cause that grindy, nasty sound. So we got our rag here. We're gonna get a nice firm grip on this shaft, and we're just gonna clean off all this goop. And that's gonna reveal this snap ring right here. We're just gonna get in there and we're gonna go ahead and remove it. With that snap ring off, we can take a flat blade screwdriver, get right up underneath this bevel gear. We'll just pry that up just a little bit. And then we should be able to just remove that by hand. And underneath that bevel gear, there is a single pin. We're just gonna go ahead and remove that as well. Now, typically this planetary here should just pull down out of the machine, but we're a little seized up there. So we'll take a rubber mallet and we'll just give that thing a few pops. And after we whack that off, it should just pull away from the machine just like that. If this planetary does not pull away from the machine easily and you have to hit it out, that's an indication of a bad planetary. If you look, you can see how that post is just leaning a little bit to the right. Now this shaft here, it just presses down into place. There are some splines down there and it just mashes up down in there. And that is leaning because it has started to lose its pressing, which means that on every rotation, it's gonna put some awkward pressure on those gears. So yeah, we're gonna replace it, but don't worry, this is actually part of the full rebuild kit. As well as all of the gears, including this worm follower gear here, this speed control board, and the motor as well. Speaking of, let's go ahead and get this speed board and this motor out of the way. So if you're not doing a full rebuild, which I highly recommend, if your machine is not wanting to switch speeds or it's not powering on when you move the speed lever, it is always a function of this board being bad, which we have a ton of tutorials out there on how to change that. Now, there are 2 screws here that mount that speed board into place. Let's go ahead and remove those. Now, as you can tell here, this machine did take a little shot right here. You can tell it's also cracked this board, so I don't even actually have to remove that screw. I can just pick this up and pull it right out of the way. And here are the remnants of that bracket. Now, there are a total of 5 wires that run to this board, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. Let's go ahead, let's remove these 4 clips. And that can be achieved with some needle nose pliers and just putting a little pressure, pulling them off. Now the last wire here is what we call the hall sensor, and there are some little clips right down here. And we just have to get under here and put a little pressure on these clips to clip them up, get them out of the way. This speedboard can now be removed. Now to remove this motor, there's just 2 screws. There's one there and one right here as well. And those screws are just basic Phillips head screws. Now that we're all cleared up, we need to come through here and we need to remove all of this old grease. Now, if you were only doing a re-grease job here, of course, we would come through, we would clean out all of these gear teeth as well. But all new gears come as part of the rebuild package. So we just need to clean out the lower gear case here as well as this transmission. Now, once we are done with that, there really is only one more thing we need to do before we put this thing back together. Oh, and because I care, I even took the time to dolly out that big giant dent that was in the side. You can hardly tell there was any damage at all. Okay, next step, these screws right here, we want to check and make sure these are tight. These were dangerously loose. And when those get loose, it can allow this head to bounce up and down and just thrash around, which is no good for you, me, or Sandra D. So I'm going to fix these with a light upgrade. We're just going to go ahead and remove these. And per customer request, we're just going to hit these with our bulletproof lock washers. Just slide them over those bolts and then cinch those puppies down into place. Now, inevitably, there will be somebody that says, lock washers don't work. Hey, that study was performed by NASA, guys, working on rockets in very high vibration situations. Low vibration, they work just fine. Now, last step here, there are 2 alignment pins, one right there and one right there. And we need to take a punch and just knock those down into place, because those will drift up over time, and likely that is what caused those bolts to get loose in the first place. It's time to slap this baby back together. We have all of our new parts here, motor in hand. We're going to start with that. Turns out I'm the only person in the world that has these right now. All right, let's go ahead and just drop that baby down into place and then secure it with those 2 mounting screws. Next, for our speedboard, it just sits down into place right here as well. And we can go ahead and secure that. We don't want to get these too awful tight because, well, these brackets are plastic, and if you hulk out, you'll break them. Next, for the clips, these boards are labeled, so we have black, obviously this black one, white or neutral, that's going to be this one, and we'll just click those into place. Then you have these two smaller clips coming from the motor. They're labeled motor 1 and motor 2 on the board. They can be transposed. It doesn't matter which order they go into, so we'll click those in. And then lastly, the Hall sensor. Take a look. We have the long, flat backside. We want to put that right up against the back of that motor and just click it down into place. Now, theoretically, we should have power. Oh, take a listen to that. Time for the gearbox. We want to start with a light layer of grease down here in this transmission. And that is looking perfect. Now it's time for the planetary. But first we need to get up under here and check this internal ring gear. So this gear is actually sagging a little bit. So we're going to take a punch right here on the edge and we're going to tap it up. And as we tap that up, you're going to see a secondary little ridge line right here. We want this gear to sit just above or even with that ridge line. And then we're going to give that just a little bit of lube as well. And then watch how smoothly this planetary now just slides up into place, right? Not bent, works perfect. So if you did not tap that ring gear up far enough, what you find is that when you put your planetary into place, you can't get it to go up far enough to get our pin back in. But guess what? We're good. Time to drop on our bevel gear here. Now take a look. There are two slots there in the bottom. Those line up with that pin right there so that it can drop down into place. Securing it all in by the reintroduction of our snap ring. Time for a little more lube. Let's grease these gears up. Now to assemble our new worm gear, so we have our sleeve bearing in the back. It has this big lip on it that goes close to the wheel like so. Then we have a spacer. It is flat on the back side. It has this little track on the front. We want the flat side to go towards the gear so that our little ball bearings can ride around in that track. Then we'll go ahead and put on our second washer and make a bearing sandwich. Topping it off with the front sleeve bearing that does not have that extra lip on it. We can and should give this little thrust bearing just a little bit of grease on those bearings. And then we'll just float this baby down into place. Now, we do want to add some grease here. If you take your finger and you put it on that motor fan, you can just spin that around to reveal the dry side and give it just a little bit more. We are getting dangerously close here. We got our new gasket. We're just going to go ahead and seal that down into place. Push our hub gear into that transmission housing. And don't forget, we do want to lube it up a little bit before we stick it into place. Securing it down with our 4 mounting screws. Really, all that's left is to drop on our upper housing, secure our beauty band, and give it a little spit shine. And just like that, this machine is literally brand new. Ready to rock for another decade. I know we're 8 minutes deep into this video, but I want to take just a moment to say thank you to Francis, the owner of this machine. They didn't just order the rebuild, they got a bunch of upgrades. So we have our anti-slide pedestal mat there. A beater blade XLM which fits a majority of the professional models. It is absolutely amazing and designed to scrape the bowl as the machine mixes. The comfy grip to slide over this bare metal handle right here and just make it feel and look better when you're using the raise function of your machine. A pour chute which clips onto the edge of the bowl here and does absolute wonders for adding dry and wet ingredients into the bowl. And last but certainly not least, one of our flagship products, the quick install spring and washer. Super easy to install. You just split this just like a key ring and then twist that baby into place. Followed by doing the exact same thing with the washer. A slight bit of upward pressure. And just like that, we've improved your machine by adding a brand new spring and washer. And now this machine is ready to go to work. Now, if you're at home watching this and you're interested in some of these upgrades, I will link those in the link below.